All right, so last night, um, since it was the off night for the vampire game, I stepped up mainly because I just wanted to play a game and ran L5R First Edition. Why First Edition? It's my favorite edition. It's the one I know, even though L5R Fourth Edition, which I own, is absolutely beautiful. I love it. But First Edition is so much easier. So, in my opinion, that's my opinion. You can be like, nope, you're wrong, and that's fair. Whatever. Um, so what I did is, as we had players from everywhere, and they were all pre-gens from the books, the way of this and the way of that. Um, plus the way of the Shinsai even. I decided they would be tested to see if they could become servants of the Jade Magistrate. So they went to the castle where they were summoned, and while there, they were put through many tests. And there's a reason I did this. I mean, and I put them through like tea ceremony, so etiquette style tests and uh, calligraphy, which is its own skill, calligraphy. But I put them through all these tests mainly to get them to learn the rules. So by putting them through non-combat and combat, there was a Kenjutsu tournament starring all the players, and there was an Ijitsu tournament also with all the players. So all the players learned the rules of the game without there being like a, okay, let me explain the rules. It was more of a I'm going to tell you what to do for this challenge, and then you guys do it, and then hopefully you will learn how to play the game. And they all did very easily, right? And even though everybody wasn't necessarily super stoked about playing, a game set in fantastical East Asia, some were, but some weren't. Uh, in the end, everyone, I think, had a pretty good time. You could tell they were starting to get kind of attached to their characters. And even though they all did not pass every test, since obviously you couldn't pass every test, especially the combat tournaments, um, the Crane Clan guy ended up earning a gold ribbon that they tied around his Wakizashi handle for kicking ass in the 5 mile race. And the Lion Clan Samurai Ko, she ended up winning 2 gold ribbons for absolutely dominating not only the Kenjutsu challenge, but the Aijitsu challenge, because it turns out that the pre-made Samurai Imperial Guard character has like 3 in Aijitsu and 3 in Kenjutsu. I mean, so basically just an absolute badass at every form of combat, right? Didn't expect that because I'll be honest, I didn't check every skill on every character. I really thought the Kakita duelist would win the Daijitsu challenge, but no, that is not what happened. The Lion Clan Samurai Code ran through, just beat everybody's ass. It was like, okay. So she got 2 gold ribbons. However, in reality, the ribbons really don't mean a whole lot. They were just, I decided to award them because I thought it was cool. Like, hey, you kicked so much ass that Sifu gave you a ribbon, and that's cool, right? It also made them become a little bit more um, like attached to their characters because all of a sudden, the ones that won the ribbons they had actual like a thing that they could latch onto. They had won ribbons. They were awesome, right? Um, so after the various challenges, they got their first mission, which is to explore a spread of darkness in the southernmost part of the Scorpion Lands. And they went there through Otis and Uchi. They stayed out of trouble and eventually arrived at a ruined temple in the middle of nowhere, which seems to be the center of the outbreak, right? So that's where we ended the game. So we played for a good few hours and everyone learned the game because of, my policy in every game is show, don't tell when possible. So by setting them up to go through this whole tournament, I didn't have to tell them how the game worked. They just learned, naturally, holistically, as some people would say, because they were actually doing the things. And, plus that's just more fun, right? It's a lot more fun to have your character running around doing stuff than to have the DM just sitting there explaining how the game works to you for however long it takes before you can even start doing stuff. It's like, no, we have limited time. We've only got maybe 3 hours or so. So let's go ahead and knock this thing out and make sure that everyone knows how the game works. Everybody's comfortable with it. They understand their strengths and weaknesses of their character. They understand the deadliness of the game, the fact that a good hit from a weapon against you could just be your death. So that makes it where hopefully people will choose to be a little bit more smart about how they engage in combat. But they finally made it, like I said, to the ancient temple in the middle of the dead forest down there. So the Haruma scout, who specializes in things from the Darklands and stuff, right, the Shadowlands, he figured out that something in the temple is the cause of all the issues. So the brave players have decided to open the temple gates and go in. And that's when I kind of left it. And then I told them, because this is our off game from the vampire game, that if they wanted to play this game again, all they had to do is say so. And we'll continue on the adventure. And if they don't, then we'll move to the next game I want to run. And it'll be that simple. And I'll set up a thing where they have to, again, go through, a bunch of training before they're unleashed into the world. So, will I tell them what game we're going to play? I don't know. Maybe I'll let them pick. But I think most of the players said they wanted to continue this mission at least. So that's good. That's good. So we played L5R first edition with 5 players, not including myself, since I am, running the game. And a good time was had by all, I think. There's a lot of laughing, a lot of carrying on. And, everybody had a pretty good time. So there are many new editions of L5R, but I would strongly suggest, if you can get your hands on the first edition, which I know you can, I think for free on PDF, that you play first edition. It is, in my opinion, the superior edition, even including second, which usually second is a little better than first, but sometimes first is better than second. And this is one of those cases where the first edition was just better than any other edition, in my opinion, which is always right, as we all know. So, anyway, peace and love, guys. That's what we did last night. That's our gaming story. It was pretty fun. Everybody was getting into the habit of referring to each other as san and sama and, this and that. And, it's not an easy thing to teach a bunch of people who don't know anything about Japanese culture, basic Japanese etiquette during a fantastical samurai type era, but we made it happen. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. Anyway, hopefully they survive next week. Peace and love. GMJames out.